Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. I know I've been pumping out a lot of content here on the second channel, but we got some brand new cards revealed to take a look at here, and I thought, well, you know what, let's reveal them, because actually we even got a new special energy that got revealed, which we are going to look at in this video. And of course, whenever Pokemon prints a special energy going forward, you have to take that in consideration with how good it will be with Lugia. But I didn't want to do a video just talking about one energy. I was waiting for another batch of cards to get revealed, and while I was watching OCIC, more cards got leaked. We got a brand new Terastal EX, and we also got another EX, a new stadium, and a new supporter. So let's take a look at these cards. We'll start off with the Miss Magius. We've seen some pretty cool Miss Magius cards in the past. Is this card as good as the one from, I think it was on Broken Bonds with the Duststone? Well, let's see. It's got the ability Magical Flick. When you play this card from your hand to evolve on your Pokemon during your turn, you may choose an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon and move it to one of their bench Pokemon. So essentially, it's a bit of an energy disruption card. Nothing crazy. There's already a Clefable in the format that does something a little similar, but maybe even better. When you evolve Clefable from Clefairy, you can put energy from your opponent's active or one of their Pokemon on top of their deck. But Miss Magius doesn't really, I think it really does too much to move the needle. I mean, if you're playing against like an energy acceleration heavy deck like Lugia or Lost Box, like that's going to be irrelevant. Maybe in a better meta, this would have been good, but in a format with like Arceus, because this will be pulse rotation, you know, with Arceus, Mirage Gate, Archeops existing, I can't see the scene play. Like, the only thing it'd be good against is like Rapid Strike, but I don't see this ability being very good. So it's a pretty underwhelming card. And then we got our first EX here. We got a Dedenne EX. Now, keep in mind, this is, of course, a Terastal EX, but let's take a look at what it does. So it's got that Terastal effect where it doesn't take any damage while it's on the bench, which has been the theme with the two other Terastals we've seen. Arcanine and Gyarados have the exact same Terastal effect. I mean, it's cool and all, like, Radiant Greninja is still popular, and Rapid Strike Urshifu is looking to be pretty good in the new format, but just a very mediocre effect to have. I wish the Terastal effects were a lot better. A lot of people have been complaining that they wish these effects were just, they did different things and just the same effect, and the effect's just kind of mid, right? So, is what it is. It's got 2 attacks. We got Tail Sweep for 2 Psychic. Move all damage counters when your bench Pokemon to your opponent's active. So it's basically the Altaria from Silver Tempest, but for 2 Psychic. I mean, you could play this with, like, Shadow Rider, I guess, as, like, a tech card. You know, Shadow Rider, 320 HP, play, like, Radiant Gardevoir. Shadow Rider takes, like, you know, 280 damage, and then you just go into Dedenne, and then just use its effect. It's not terrible. If it was, like, move damage from all your Pokemon, it would have been, like, an okay counter to Lost Box, but other than that, it's a pretty mediocre attack. And then the other attack, Wonder Shot, for 3 Psychic, just does 170, and then you discard energy from it. So, unfortunately, this Dedenne EX is nothing special. It's obviously nowhere near as good as the original Dedenne EX we've had. So, pretty bad card. I mean, the only use this card really would have is to PC play in Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, where you can use Shadow Rider to build up the Dedenne and then heal one of your Shadow Riders. But overall, it's a pretty bad attack. There's really nothing too crazy going on. And then next up, we got some Whoopers. But then we got Paladin Closire here. Now, this is a dark Pokemon, which you always want to keep in mind how relevant dark Pokemon are in the new format because of the popularity of Mew and Gardevoir. It's a Stage 1 Pokemon with 280 HP, so right off the bat, this Pokemon is extremely bulky. 280 HP on a Stage 1 is pretty good. And then, of course, it has an ability, Poison Bog. Once you're in turn, if there's a statement play, you may leave your opponent's active poison. So, the first thing I think of about this is it's basically the Garbodor. It's Garbodor, but on a stage, it's just another Garbodor, right? So, it's an okay ability. I mean, it's technically an extra 10 damage, if you think about it. But it is a dark Pokemon, which means it can attack. And it does Needle Bone for 200 damage for a dark and a DC. Flip a coin of tails, this Pokemon cannot attack during your next turn. So, I mean, it's cool. It's not, like, unplayable. Again, it is a dark Pokemon, so you got to keep in mind that it is going to be okay to have in certain matchups, of course, like Gardevoir or Mew, and it is tanky. I mean, 280 HP is a pretty good amount of HP to have on a 2-prizer. But overall, it's kind of mediocre. I don't even know if the ability is all that good. I'm trying to think of a scenario where the ability will be good. I can't think of a scenario where the ability... I mean, like, because, like, Shedinja's rotating. The first thing that popped in my mind was, oh, Ditto Shedinja, because I know Garbodor's rotating, but not even Garbodor, not even Shedinja sticks around. So, like, I mean, yeah, it's probably not going to see play. I mean, it's okay, It's a very mediocre card. The only thing that makes it worth looking at is just the amount of HP it has for a Dark Stage 1 Pokemon, which is kind of cool, but I don't know. I mean, you can build up the DT and go like Dark DT, do 180 damage, and you can one-shot a Mew, you can one-shot a Gardevoir, but you potentially might not be able to attack next turn, which means you gotta play Switch. Next up, we got Getsis, which is just literally Boss's Order. So, Boss's Order just got reprinted in the form of Getsis. I know a lot of people are not happy about Boss coming back. I know a lot of people are very iffy on Boss being in the format. But yeah, Boss is reprinted, and they have now given us another villain card as our Boss's Order. We've had Cyrus, Lysander, and Giovanni, and now we have Getsis Boss's Order. Next up, we got Lesson Stadium here, which is the last new card to look at. It is a cool stadium. It's got the effect, the attacks of each player's stage 1 evolution Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active before applying weakness. Now, this stadium actually could be pretty useful in any big stage 1 deck. Now, I don't think this works with V-Stars. It might work with the X's. But anyways, letting your stage 1 Pokemon do 10 more damage isn't even terrible. This actually incentivizes evolutions to be good. Now, is this new card going to be, you know, the saving grace of evolution decks that we all needed? Because everyone knows the format's very fast and evolution decks have struggled to keep up. But this card is not really the saving grace of evolutions. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to have in like a deck like Zorobox, which I think Zorobox is still like going to be a decent deck. I don't think Zorobox is bad at all. And the 10 extra damage does go a long way. I mean, doing 10 more damage can really make a difference in a lot of scenarios to fix math. And it is nice to see an actual like okay stadium, because we've kind of had, I mean, the stadiums, like, we have Beach Court, there's another new stadium that lets you search out a Pokemon, and then you have, like, Path. So it is cool to see, like, another potential, like, good stadium. Like, I just think it's just healthy when they make stadiums good for the game. Like, because we've had our fair share of, like, just bad stadiums, right? But then when they keep printing, like, stadiums that have potential and might be good, that's good for the game. That's good game design. So I do like to see that they did print a pretty decently playable stadium. Again, the first thing on my mind is to play with like Zorobox, but there's probably other stage 1s, and obviously when more stage 1 Pokemon get released over, you know, the years of this card being legal and standard, I'm sure it will see a home. So it's really not that bad of a card. The 10 damage Math Fix is good. You combine that, of course, with Choice Belt or Defiant Band for that extra 30 push. You're doing plus 40 damage to your opponent's active, which is not bad. Plus 40 is not terrible at all. It's nothing to write home about, so definitely a not bad. And we do want to look at the new Jet Energy. Again, I didn't want to do a video just talking about the new energy itself, because I don't, like, it would just been like a 2-minute video. But Jet Energy here, of course, we are going to get a new special energy with Jet Energy, and a lot of people are going to say that, okay, anytime they print a stadium or an energy card, it has to be balanced, because we all know what happened if, like, they printed Aurora Energy or Powerful Colorless Energy again. Thankfully, this card is mid. It's a pretty mid card, to be honest. So basically, it's got the effect, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it's a Colorless Energy. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, you switch it with your active Pokemon. So effectively, it's a free switch. Now, this card is actually really good in Lost Box, and it's pretty mid every other matchup. I mean, I guess it's okay in Lugia, because, like, Lugia, one of the things Lugia always not struggles with, but doesn't manage to pull off as easily, is like the pivots. I mean, whenever you're playing a Lugia deck, a lot of the time you have to preemptively have an energy on like Lumineon or Archeops to have that, like, that pivot for when you need to go into that Pokemon. But Jet Energy is basically saying, nah, you don't gotta do that. So will it see play in Lugia in post rotation? I guess it's like a 1 or 2 of it might. It's not terrible. Again, the free switch effect is pretty cool, because, you know, it's a good way for like Lugia to play around like paralysis in the post rotation format. If like Articuno continues to see play, or, you know, another big paralyzed deck pops up, or some wacky combo pops up, then Jet Energy definitely does have a home in Lugia. But I think the big card it's good in is Lost Box. Lost Box, of course, does lose Scoop Up Net and now has to play Beach Court, Escape Rope, and like Switch Cart and manually retreating. But now that we have Jet Energy, they have an extra switching out, basically. This is like a free switch. And one of the things somebody pointed out is you can go double Flower Select, and then you play a Colress. You go to 4 cards, and then you go Jet Energy on a Cramorant, and then you go right into Cramorant, and then you spit. So it's a cool one of, or probably not a way, it might be like a 2 or 3 of in Lost Box. I mean, it's not the greatest card in Lost Box, but it definitely could be good. I think it also might be good with the Kyogre Lost Box build, because what you can do in that matchup. A lot of the times, Kyogre has to play like Bird Keeper because a lot of the Kyogre builds never played Air Balloon. So what you could do with Kyogre, you can go like Mirage Gate, and then like boom, pop this on, and then go into Kyogre. So it's a cool energy. Again, it's pretty mid though. I don't see it seeing play outside of literally just Lost Box, and like maybe Lugia will play like 2 of these at most in the post rotation. But yeah, it's kind of a mid card, nothing too crazy. Again, they kind of have to keep making balanced special energy cards because they can't go overboard again because Lugia V-Star is still a thing and will still be a good deck in the new format. So they have to be very careful with how they balance their special energies. So it is cool that they made a fairly balanced special energy card that's pretty mid. I mean, it's okay in Lost Box, and that's about it. But yeah, overall, these new cards, I gotta say, kind of mid. I mean, nothing really stood out to me that was like mind-blowing. I guess the new Stadium's arguably the best card we just saw, to be honest. I mean, maybe you could argue Boss, but that doesn't count. I really think the new Stadium was the best card that got revealed out of these new batch of cards, because everything else was kind of like mediocre. Miss Magius, pretty bad. Dedenne EX, kind of mediocre. Mediocre Paladin, Clodzire. I really think the new Stadium is maybe the best card that got revealed. Jet Energy's not bad, but let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these new cards? What do you think of Jet Energy? Did I miss any other Jet Energy combos that it might be good with? Because I would love to hear of that. But that'll be it for me on the second channel. New card got revealed, so how did you get a video on it? And of course, let me know what you think of these cards down below. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, click that subscribe button down below. I guess from now on the road to 4K subscribers here. So I'll catch you on another video here on the second channel. Peace out.